This green chutney is absolutely delicious and it only takes 5 minutes to make. To a food processor or blender, you're going to add lots of cilantro, mint, and jalapeno. Then you'll measure some garlic with your heart, add all the spices along with some yogurt, ginger, and lime juice. Then you can add some water to thin out the sauce to your desired consistency and just blend until completely smooth. Enjoy with some egg rolls, samosas, kebabs, just about anything. It's gonna make it so much better. And all that's left to do is enjoy. If you're in charge of mashed potatoes this Thanksgiving, here are my secrets to getting them super fluffy and creamy. Start out by adding your potatoes to cold water along with salt and garlic cloves. Bring that to a boil, and as the potatoes soften up, so will the garlic, and it's gonna add a beautiful flavor to this. And we'll break up the potatoes until there are no more clumps. Now we'll stream in our whole milk and lots of butter along with salt, black pepper, and my secret ingredient, which is cream cheese. Feel free to add as much milk as you like depending on how thick or thin you like your mashed potatoes. I like to add some parsley, black pepper, and more butter on top, and that's basically it. Our last step is to enjoy. I promise you'll fall in love with these delicious pumpkin pie cheesecake bars. And that was a pun, by the way, if you didn't catch it. But anyways, this recipe was such a hit last year that I decided to enter it in the McCormick Spice Thanksgiving Dessert Contest. The bars are super simple to make. It starts off with a pumpkin pie layer seasoned with cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and a bit of salt. Then we make the cheesecake batter as well as the graham cracker crust, which is my favorite part, and layer all that to throw it into the oven. If you love this recipe, you can vote for me by downloading McCormick's Flavor Maker app using the link in my bio. The voting will end on November 11th, and may the best dessert win. Now back to the recipe. After it's baked, allow it to cool, slice, and it's ready to enjoy with some whipped cream and a dash of cinnamon on top. Happy voting, and I can't wait to see your remake. Starbucks came out with a sugar cookie latte, and it's either been a big hit or miss, so today we're gonna make it at home and even better. And if you were wondering, I'm still cleaning up sprinkles today. But anyways, first thing we're gonna do is make our espresso shots. Then we'll move on to the sugar cookie syrup, so melt on some white chocolate chips with half and half until beautifully smooth. Mix in some sweetened condensed milk, almond extract, and vanilla extract, and when you taste it, it's just like a sugar cookie. I'm not a huge fan of lattes, so I turned it into a shaken espresso and just added a little bit of syrup to that. I topped it off with some vanilla sweet cream cold foam and those cute little sprinkles that caused me so much trouble. And finally, our last step is to enjoy. So I think I might have unlocked the secret to making the perfect spaghetti, and it's using bucatini. They're super thick and hollow and just perfect. Also, don't wear a white shirt while you make red pasta because it's gonna eat with you. To a pan with equal parts olive oil and butter, you're gonna toast your garlic along with the ground beef and all our spices. Then I'm adding in my favorite marinara sauce and letting it simmer. Once it's nice and bubbly, we're going to add in our secret ingredient, which is heavy cream, along with some parsley and parmesan. For the pasta, we're going to boil it in some heavily salted water and add it to our sauce along with some of the pasta water and mix that all together. Of course, you have to add more parmesan on top, and finally, our last step is to enjoy.
Hey yo, that's fire.
If you had to choose only one thing to organize in your kitchen, it definitely has to be your spices. It only took a few hours, and honestly my life feels like it's put together even though it's not. But anyways, the first thing that I got are these spice jar label stickers. They were super cute and they had every single spice that I needed. Everything was from Amazon, including these clear jars with bamboo lids. They come in a pack of 12, so I ordered 3 because I have a lot of spices and the size is 6 ounces. Then I got these clear shelves to put the jars on, and they didn't fit my drawers perfectly, but it's all I could find that I actually liked. And that's basically it. If you want any of these items, all the links are in my last blog post, so make sure to check it out. When I'm feeling down, I just make these potatoes and my day instantly turns around. They're called batata hara, and they're crispy potatoes tossed in a spicy, garlicky, lemony sauce. This is how I make it. Start out by sauteing some tomato paste and garlic in butter and olive oil. Then we spice it up with red pepper flakes, black pepper, paprika, cumin, and salt. Finish it off with some cilantro and lemon juice, and then we're gonna work on our potatoes. After cubing them and rinsing them in ice water, you're going to parboil them, coat them in cornstarch, and then throw them in some hot oil and fry until beautifully golden brown. Of course, you can also air fry or bake them, whatever you like most, and then you're going to toss in the sauce, add more cilantro on top, and all that's left to do is enjoy. right now, so of course I had to contribute these cookie butter Rice Krispie treats. Start out by crushing some Biscoff cookies, and then in a pot over medium heat you're going to melt down some butter and then add vanilla extract and a pinch of salt. Then you'll add in all the marshmallows, melt it down, and then add the Rice Krispie cereal and Biscoff cookie crumbs. Mix that all together and then transfer to a Line 9x9 pan and allow it to cool for about 10 minutes. After that, add a thin layer of melted white chocolate and a drizzle of Biscoff spread, and then you can use a toothpick to create a cute design just like this. Now we pop it in the fridge, and once the chocolate is set, cut into small squares, and they turn out super ooey and gooey, and all that's left to do is enjoy. The perfect fudgy brownie recipe does exist, and it tastes just like the Ghirardelli box ones, which in my opinion are the best. After preheating your oven, you're going to combine white sugar, light brown sugar, and challenge unsalted butter that's been melted. Then you'll add unsweetened cocoa powder, espresso powder, vanilla extract, heavy cream, and vegetable oil. Heat that up in the microwave just so that it mixes really well, and it's going to start smelling like chocolate heaven. Then you'll add the eggs in, mix it really well, and then add the all-purpose flour and salt until you have a nice thick batter. Finally, mix in the semi-sweet chocolate chips, or you can sprinkle it on top and pop it in the oven to bake. Once it comes out of the oven, you're going to have to let it cool for a little bit, and then you can slice it into individual pieces just like this. All that's left to do is enjoy with a glass of milk or ice cream on top. Have you ever had Moroccan pancakes before? We call them bagrir, and they have holes all over just like this so they could soak up a delicious honey butter syrup. And even though I have trypophobia, it's still one of my favorite dishes to enjoy. Start out by combining fine semolina with all-purpose flour, salt, sugar, and yeast. Then you'll add warm water and mix until you have a thin batter consistency. I also like to use an immersion blender to combine it all together, then you let it rest and add some baking powder and mix again. Get a pan hot and then scoop some of the batter until it's nice and bubbly all over just like this, and you're not going to flip these pancakes actually. Repeat with the rest of the batter until they're all done, and then you're going to top it off with a combination of butter and honey to enjoy. Okay, so Biscoff has been kind of having its moment right now, and I am obsessed with it, so I turned them into these cute little thumbprint cookies. I also filled them with pistachio paste, Nutella, and dulce de leche, and they're just super fun to make and actually pretty easy. You're going to whisk together your dry ingredients and then cream together your butter and sugar, and then add some egg yolks and vanilla extract. Combine the dry with the wet until a dough forms, and then you're going to pop that in the fridge to chill. Feel free to also roll them in some chopped nuts, and then you're going to make the indentation in the middle and pop them in the oven to bake. After that, allow them to cool down, and then you can add any filling or flavor combo that your heart desires. These are the 4 flavors that I did, and all that's left to do now is enjoy. So there's a little motto that I like to live my life by, and that is, if there's an opportunity to put Nutella in something, you go for it. So today we are doing sambusa or samosas, whatever you call it. It's super simple. You just get your wrapper, fill it up with Nutella, and be generous. I like to add a little graham cracker action in there so that it's like a s'mores flavor, and then I make a marshmallow sauce, fry it, add that all on top, and that's basically it. Do we do cookie butter next? Now that it's officially spring and the weather's warming up, you have to try making this refreshing mint lemonade. It literally only takes less than 10 minutes to make, and all you need are lemons, mint, sugar, water, and ice cubes. To a blender, you're going to add your lemon juice, lemon wedges, sugar, water, ice cubes, and a handful of mint. Blend until completely smooth, and you'll get a much better consistency if you don't use a food processor like me. It's super refreshing and has that perfect balance of sweetness and tanginess, and all that's left to do is enjoy. Sushi bake is the perfect recipe to make when you're feeling lazy like me to make actual sushi. Basically, just think of it as a deconstructed California roll, except we're going to add shrimp too. Start out by making your sushi rice. You can also use pre-cooked jasmine rice if you'd like. Then we're going to chop our crab and shrimp and combine it with cream cheese, mayo, hot sauce, soy sauce, sesame oil, and lime juice. Combine the rice with rice vinegar, sugar, and sesame oil, and then press that down into your baking pan. Layer it all up and then pop it in the oven to bake until beautifully golden, and then we're going to add all our toppings. Spicy mayo, eel sauce, avocado, green onions, and of course some sesame seeds. All that's left to do is enjoy. There are very few things in life that give me as much joy as eating a bagel, so today we're going to make them at home and from scratch. Also, I just noticed the cream cheese on my forehead, so we're just going to ignore that, proof our yeast, and combine it with some flour, salt, sugar, water, milk, and salt. Knead that really well until you have a soft, elastic dough that holds its shape and is not sticky. Then we'll transfer it to an oiled bowl and let it proof in a warm place until doubled in size. Now we'll divide the dough, roll it into balls, and then let it sit for 15 minutes just so it puffs up. For the best part, we're going to poke the hole to give it that signature bagel look, and then we're going to boil our bagels. After boiling with some honey and baking soda, you're going to add your egg wash, your toppings, pop them in the oven until they're beautifully golden and fluffy just like this. All that's left to do is enjoy. So baklava is amazing and all, but have you ever had the cheesecake version of it? You get that flaky, crispy feel layer on top and then the creaminess of the cheesecake in the center. It's basically the Hannah Montana of desserts. It starts off with a basic New York cheesecake recipe, and then you're going to make a simple syrup using honey, sugar, water, orange blossom water, and lemon juice. Then you'll pulse together pistachios and walnuts and combine that with cinnamon and some of the simple syrup. Now we cut the phyllo sheets to the size of our pan, add some butter, a layer of phyllo, and repeat 10 times. Add the nuts, the cheesecake, the nuts, and then repeat with the butter and phyllo again on top. Add the syrup right out of the oven, and then you gotta let it chill before you can slice and enjoy. If you want someone to fall in love with you, just make this dessert for them, trust me. The phyllo was filled with cream, rolled up, baked in lots of butter, and then covered in a syrup, so it doesn't really get better than that. Start out by making the custard with heavy cream, milk, all-purpose flour, cornstarch, and vanilla extract. Allow that to thicken, and then we'll make our simple syrup with sugar, water, and orange blossom water. Then we'll cut our phyllo sheets to the size of our pan and start rolling it up. Pipe the cream in the center, fold, and roll away. Place them seam side down in your baking pan, cover in butter, and then pop them in the oven to bake to crispy golden perfection. When it comes out of the oven, cover it in syrup, and then I like to top it off with some pistachios and rose petals. And finally, our last step is to enjoy. You're truly not you when you're hungry, so let's make the date version of everyone's favorite chocolate bar. And when I tell you it tasted exactly like a Snickers, I'm really not exaggerating. Cut the dates open, take out the pit, and then pipe some peanut butter in the center and add some chopped, salted, and roasted peanuts. Insert a toothpick into each date and dip into your melted chocolate. Add some crushed peanuts on top, chill, and they're ready to enjoy. The medjool dates taste just like caramel in a Snickers bar, but even better. If you like garlic naan, just wait until you try stuffing it with cheese. You really can't go wrong with that combo. It's basically what dreams are made of. Proof the yeast in a little bit of water and sugar, and then we'll combine our flour, olive oil, water, salt, yogurt, and then that proofed yeast. We're gonna mix until a dough forms and then put it to sleep until double in size. In the meantime, whip up a garlic and cilantro butter as well as grate your cheeses. After about an hour, divide your dough into equal sections and roll into balls just like this. Flatten it out a bit, stuff it with cheese, seal it, and then flatten it out again, but this time really thin. Then just grease a girdle and cook on both sides until beautifully golden, brush with the garlic butter, and it's ready to enjoy. In this world, there are two types of people, the ones who love waffles more and the ones who love pancakes more. But no matter which one you are gonna fall in love with these super thick and fluffy lemon ricotta pancakes. First, whisk together flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, and sugar. In another bowl, combine ricotta with milk, egg yolks, vanilla extract, lemon zest, lemon juice, and vinegar. Then we'll beat the egg whites, combine that all together, and cook it on a pan until super thick and fluffy just like this. And all that's left to do is enjoy. Skip the box of chocolates this Valentine's Day and make these no-bake Oreo heart truffles instead. They turn out so cute and you only need 3 ingredients. Finally, crush 54 Oreos and combine it with 12 ounces of softened cream cheese. Finally, press that into an 8x8 pan, chill, and cut out little hearts just like this. Then we'll dip it in some chocolate. You can use white, milk, dark, any color you like. To decorate them, you can add some sprinkles, a drizzle of chocolate, some crushed Oreos, and that's basically it. Best way to say I love you is through baking, and these cheese heart danishes are so cute and really easy to make. Today we're using strawberries, but you can use any fruit your heart desires. Start out with some puff pastry and punch out large hearts just like this. Then we'll combine cream cheese, sugar, lemon zest, vanilla extract, and 1 egg yolk. Set that aside, and then we'll make our egg wash with 1 egg and a little bit of milk. Brush the puff pastry, add the filling, some strawberries, and a little bit of sugar on the edges. Bake until beautifully golden and add a dusting of powdered sugar on top. Finally, our last step is to enjoy. Cauliflower is a bit of an inferior vegetable to me, but if you batter it and coat it in a bang bang sauce, it's absolutely addicting. We're gonna make our batter with buttermilk, flour, cornstarch, and all our spices. Then take a whole head of cauliflower, break apart the florets, toss it in the batter, add some panko breadcrumbs, and toss it in the oven to bake. Then we'll make the bang bang sauce, which is mayo, sweet chili sauce, garlic, sriracha, and parsley. When the cauliflower comes out of the oven super crispy, toss it in the sauce, and finally, our last step is to enjoy. If you need a vegetarian dinner recipe, try out these super crispy potato tacos. If that crunch sound didn't convince you, my husband, who has to have meat with every single meal, absolutely loved these. Start out by boiling the potatoes in some salted water. Once fork tender, drain it, give yourself a little facial, and then break it apart. Then we'll add cheese, sour cream, garlic, all our spices, and cilantro. Stuff the filling into some small flour tortillas and then fry them in some vegetable oil until they're beautifully crispy and golden brown. To top it off, I added some chipotle sauce, lettuce, cotija, and some lime. And finally, our last step is to enjoy. This is the best way to enjoy Hawaiian rolls, and it's turning them into pizza rolls. They might just be the best Super Bowl snack you ever make, and it takes less than 30 minutes. Take some Hawaiian rolls and make 2 cuts like this, but don't go all the way down. Basically like you're making Hasselback potatoes. Then take some melted unsalted butter and you're going to add garlic, parmesan, parsley, oregano, salt, and pepper. Add 2 slices of pepperoni into every cut and stuff it with mozzarella. Then brush the bottoms with garlic butter as well as the tops, so just drown them and then pop them in the oven to bake until they're beautifully golden, crispy, and cheesy. And finally, enjoy with some marinara. If you're obsessed with matcha, you're gonna fall in love with these chewy matcha white chocolate chip cookies. They're perfectly crispy on the edges and super soft in the center. First, you're gonna whisk together all-purpose flour, cornstarch, baking soda, salt, and matcha. Then cream together your butter and sugar, add the eggs, vanilla extract, and combine the dry with the wet. Just add the white chocolate chips, scoop them, and bake them to perfection. Also, pro tip to flatten them out, bang the pan a few times right when they come out of the oven. And they'll turn out looking beautiful like this with a very bold matcha flavor. All that's left to do is enjoy with a matcha latte to dip in. If you've never had coconut rice in a savory dish before, then this is your sign to try it. It's nutty, rich, and the perfect balance of sweet and salty. First thing you're gonna do is rinse your rice really well, then toast your garlic in some coconut oil and butter. Then add some coconut milk, water, sugar, salt, and some jasmine rice. Cover and let it cook for 15 minutes, then let it steam for 10 minutes. Take the lid off and you'll see just how fluffy the rice turns out every single time. I served it with some honey jalapeno chicken, and it was the perfect balance of flavors and an amazing easy dinner. Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits at home and even better. They only take about 30 minutes to make and they turn out so cheesy and fluffy. Start out by combining all-purpose flour, sugar, salt, and baking powder. Then we'll spice it up with dried parsley, oregano, and garlic powder. Also add some melted butter and buttermilk and mix it until it looks just like this. For my favorite part, we're going to make it rain cheddar and then scoop them and pop them in the oven to bake. While they bake, we'll make our garlic butter, which has parmesan, parsley, garlic, black pepper, salt, and of course butter. When they're out of the oven and looking beautifully golden, brush them with that garlic butter on top. They turn out super fluffy on the inside and have a nice crunch on the outside. If you're in charge of mashed potatoes this Thanksgiving, here are my secrets to getting them super fluffy and creamy. Start out by adding your potatoes to cold water along with salt and garlic cloves. Bring that to a boil, and as the potatoes soften up, so will the garlic, and it's gonna add a beautiful flavor to this. And we'll break up the potatoes until there are no more clumps. Now we'll stream in our whole milk and lots of butter along with salt, black pepper, and my secret ingredient, which is cream cheese. Feel free to add as much milk as you like depending on how thick or thin you like your mashed potatoes. I like to add some parsley, black pepper, and more butter on top, and that's basically it. Our last step is to enjoy. So I had some leftover chimichurri the other day and I used it to make garlic bread, and it was honestly life-changing. It was super crispy on the outside and perfectly fluffy on the inside, so let's make it. We're going to start off with some extra virgin olive oil, and to that add some parsley, cilantro, garlic, red chili, oregano, salt, black pepper, and vinegar. Spread that on top, a thick loaf of French bread, add your Parmesan as well as some shredded mozzarella on top, and pop that in the oven to broil to crispy golden perfection. I like to cut it into triangles like this, but feel free to cut it into rectangles. And finally, our last step is to enjoy. So Starbucks officially announced its fall with the launch of their pumpkin drink, so today we're gonna make my favorite, the pumpkin cream cold brew, at home and even better. We're gonna mix together heavy cream, milk, sweetened condensed milk, pumpkin pie spice, pumpkin puree, and vanilla syrup. Once it's thick and foamy, it's ready to go. Add your cold brew or any iced coffee you like along with some vanilla syrup, and top it off with the foam and a little bit more pumpkin pie spice. And that's basically it, so I hope you fall in love with this recipe. Apple pie meets cheesecake in the best fall dessert you'll ever have. First thing we're gonna make is our crust, and the key to any good shortbread is using high quality butter, so I'm using my favorite Challenge unsalted butter. Melt that butter down and mix it with flour, sugar, vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and press it into your pan to bake. Then we'll make our streusel topping using more butter and combine apples with cinnamon sugar. Now moving on to the cheesecake, we're gonna cream together the cream cheese and sugar. Then we'll add our egg, sour cream, vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and cornstarch. Then we layer, bake, cool, cut, and top it off with some caramel. And finally, our last step is to enjoy. If you had to choose only one thing to organize in your kitchen, it definitely has to be your spices. It only took a few hours, and honestly my life feels like it's put together even though it's not. But anyways, the first thing that I got are these spice jar label stickers. They were super cute and they had every single spice that I needed. Everything was from Amazon, including these clear jars with bamboo lids. They come in a pack of 12, so I ordered 3 because I have a lot of spices and the size is 6 ounces. Then I got these clear shelves to put the jars on, and they didn't fit my drawers perfectly, but it's all I could find that I actually liked. And that's basically it. If you want any of these items, all the links are in my last blog post, so make sure to check it out.